Hello, everyone. I wanted to share some good news and a word of encouragement with you. Ultimately, that's not a word. Ultimately, that one's a word. The good news is, in a sense, part of the encouragement, but not the whole encouragement in itself. You see, it brings us encouragement. It strengthens us to persevere when we see a light at the end of the tunnel, when we can concretely see an end to perhaps some of the difficulties we are enduring, when we can see a good thing coming up. So I want to share with you the good news that as I've continually updated you, that for the past few weeks that we've been working with looking at the guidelines that the bishops have given us for how to open safely and a timeline for that, and looking at what we can do in the meantime, and really trying to be generous and bold about everything that we can offer, but only, as I've said, only offering what we can offer safely, and that we can be confident that we are proceeding responsibly in that manner, prioritizing your safety. And so with that in mind, I want to share with you the good news that, as I mentioned in the bulletin and perhaps in some other things, that part of that process involves the recruitment of a team of volunteers that will oversee the process and really devote themselves to making sure that we are indeed following through on what we're saying and prioritizing your safety. I am very grateful to this team. I'm very confident in their guidance and assistance. We met last night for the first time that we all gathered to discuss everything. And we did determine, this is sort of the light at the end of the tunnel for you, if you will, although it's not the end of the road. But we did determine last night that the plan right now is for St. Louis Church to be aiming to return to the inside of the church for public mass indoors on the weekend of June 14th. So not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. And there's a lot of work we have to do to prepare for that when we return. It is not going to be an immediate return to the way things were. By that point, it will be 3 months ago. In fact, things will be very different, and there will be more information coming out about that in the form of a video, as well as a written online announcement and a mailing, because this is sort of the big news that we sort of need to be, as I said, we're all going to need to be on board. We're all going to need to be cooperative, and it's going to be different. Perhaps difficult for some, perhaps difficult, I think, in some way for everyone. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it to be regathered in the church for the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, and other celebrations as well. But that will probably be where our focus is for a period of time. So more details to come about the specifics of that. And as I said, it really will be important for you to be attentive to those details, but also to just to remain calm and hopeful and grateful that this is something that we can do, and that there are people, as I said, focusing on the details. We simply ask everyone to be cooperative, but focused on arranging those details so that we can make this available and you can keep your focus on Jesus. So I'm happy to share that good news. And in the midst of so many things going on in our culture right now, on top of the pandemic, it is a time in which I think we are all looking for hope. And I want to encourage you that I hope, as I said, this word of encouragement helps you to experience that hope rising in your heart in a very real way, but also to remind us all what hope really is. that hope isn't that I define what that light at the end of the tunnel will be. And until I see that, I don't have hope. That's not what hope is. That is not only wishful thinking, but it's also somewhat controlling wishful thinking. It's saying, I determine what the solution is. I determine what the end of the line is. I determine what will fix all this or bring good news. No. Hope entails surrender. Hope entails trust. Hope builds upon faith and is ordered toward love. Consider these words from St. Paul that we just heard over the weekend at the Vigil Mass for Pentecost. We heard, brothers and sisters, we know that all creation is groaning in labor pains even until now. And not only that, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we also groan within ourselves as we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved. In hope we were saved. Now, hope that sees is not hope. For who hopes for what one sees? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance. So it is indeed an encouragement that strengthens our hope and fortifies our hope when we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. But if we are fixing our eyes on an end point that we have designated and we won't be satisfied with anything less, we may be seriously misunderstanding what hope is. If hope is simply hope in a specific end result, that's not hope. Hope orders our passions toward that which fulfills our passions, which ultimately is found in the Lord. And so it entails surrender to Him. And so, having specified that we don't hope for what we see, but if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance, he goes on. In the same way, the Spirit too comes to the aid of our weakness. For we do not know how to pray as we ought, but the Spirit himself intercedes with inexpressible groanings. And the one who searches hearts knows what is the intention of the Spirit, because he intercedes for the holy ones according to God's will. The Spirit indeed comes to the aid of our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought. Hope is a delicate thing, and learning to pray and seek that hope is a delicate thing, because we have a tendency to want to fix things sometimes, to want to name the solution. And if we can't name the solution, if we can't figure one out, we get discouraged. If the solution that we've named and determined isn't in sight, we get agitated. All different ways that we need the Holy Spirit to teach us to surrender and to allow true hope to awaken and burn within us, that we may, as St. Paul says, wait with endurance, that we may persevere in being people of peace, people of faith, people of hope, and people of love. For indeed, if we hope for what we do not see, we wait with endurance. So I've given you a light at the end of the tunnel that you can see. June 14th, the weekend of June 14th, so beginning with the Saturday Mass on June 13th, we will, presuming nothing extraordinary happens between now and then to prevent it, but this is the plan, and I think we can accomplish it. God's will be done. That we intend to return to the church for indoor public worship. So that's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I hope it brings you encouragement. I hope it strengthens your hope. But I hope also that we can all surrender to God and allow the Holy Spirit to teach us to pray and to teach us to allow true hope to rise and burn within our hearts. God bless you.